Hello, let's now get to know a little about the stadiums of the World Cup in Qatar, the most beautiful shows ever built by human hands. Interior of Lusail Stadium. Qatar World Cup Stadiums, field fever at any price. Qatar's new stadiums are Instagram ready and waiting, but there's no getting away from the environmental cost of their construction, nor the question of what to do with them when the crowds return home. The impending World Cup in Qatar, which starts next Sunday, does not just require the creation of a vast sporting infrastructure almost from scratch. It also comes with a striking fetish, in the case of 6 of its 8 stadiums claiming to look like things it isn't: a diamond in the desert, a traditional fabric cap, the sails, or possibly the hooves, of a purling dhow, a nomad's tent, an ancient ceramic bowl that doubles as a candlelit lantern, a sand dune that is also a shield. There's something a little gift shop, a little touristy tattooing, about this shifting of shapes and scales. An Eiffel Tower lighter, anyone? A koala made of shells? But the designers and marketing wizards behind this construction project, ranging from £5.7 billion to £8.7 billion, seem to think metaphorical nicknames are somehow essential to their grand project. The stadium designs at least lead to some sort of parodic conclusion to the logic of iconic architecture in the last quarter century, which is to get big names to design something impressive, marketable and, since the platform's invention, Instagram-friendly. The Bird's Nest Stadium for the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games had all the essential ingredients. The naming of London skyscrapers after edibles and household objects is another precedent. Internationally famous practices are involved in Qatar. Zaha Hadid architects designed the Dhow-like Al Janoub, Foster and Partners, the Lusail bowl/lantern, alongside lesser ones. The designs come with swirls and patterns and changing colors and glow-in-the-dark features. They have these metaphors. Of the two that don't, one has the bold name of 974, like a Shoreditch club, perhaps, which refers both to the number of containers it's partially made from and to Qatar's international dialing code. The other, the Khalifa International Stadium, is a transformation of a facility built construction materials were 90% recycled. A sand dune that is also a shield, Ahmad bin Ali Stadium, whose building materials were 90% recycled. They also need to overcome paradoxes inherent in their very existence. The legacy problem that afflicts the Olympics and other temporary sporting extravaganzas, what to do with the vast facilities after the crowds leave, is more extreme here than ever. The combined capacity of 380,000 of the 8 stadiums roughly equates to the total number of Qatari citizens and is a large proportion of the country's total population, including migrants and other expatriates, of around 3 million. Clearly, the numbers aren't there to sustain a football culture that would fill stadiums with people for its pranks and pies every weekend. Thus, stadiums were primarily designed to shrink after their brief use. Several will have their capacity halved with the removal of the upper level, with hotels promised for the Al Thumama Stadium, the one like a Gafia cap, and Al Bayt, the giant tent. Stadium 974 can be completely dismantled and rebuilt, and even a school. It would be a remarkable achievement to so radically transform a former stadium in this way, but these plans that seem vague, 10 years after Qatar won the bid, rouse skepticism. There must be some doubt, too, whether the remaining stadiums would be easily filled, even at reduced sizes. These buildings also need to look as if they are at least trying to be sustainable, because environmental rhetoric is now embedded in major international developments. The really sustainable thing would have been to hold the World Cup somewhere where countless tons of concrete and steel would not be needed to build ephemeral stadiums, also where regular temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius would not need extensive air conditioning, but Sepp Blatter's FIFA, when awarding the competition to Qatar, inexplicably neglected these considerations. Qatar can, however, boast that water is recycled to irrigate the plants at the Lusail Stadium, while Al Thumama claims to have efficient air conditioning. 90% of the construction materials for the Ahmad bin Ali Stadium, the one for the dunes, are recycled and the existing trees on the site were spared from the axe. Exterior of Stadium 974, with containers visible. The edgy-sounding 974 Stadium is named after the number of shipping containers used in its construction, most of which sound like a fragile response to the climate emergency. But then the biggest job these stadiums have to do is propaganda. They must present the 2022 World Cup as something other than the triumph of sheer wealth that it primarily is, and they must distract themselves from a barrage of allegations about issues as embarrassing as human rights and the mistreatment and deaths of migrant construction workers. They must hide both the profound absurdity of the operation. Hadid Architects gained notoriety for its resemblance to a vulva. Some of the projects exhibit architectural skill. Lusail is funny. Al Janoub has a certain balanced dynamism. If Spanish manager Fenwick Iribarren Stadium 974 successfully dismantles as announced, it could be a useful prototype for the future. But in the end, the Qatar 2022 hoax boils down to the similarity of the Al Janoub Stadium, widely noticed when the designs were unveiled in 2013, with a vulva. Subsequent squaring of the opening in its roof reduced, but did not remove, this similarity. If the organizers of this vain event want to play silly games with images, it's karma they got one they didn't want.